How many of you out there are feeling like you're just getting way too much medication prescribed to you? You've seen many doctors and they all seem to end with the same result. Here's a medication, take it and come back in about a month or less. And you just feel like you're damaging your body. Well, this video is for you because I was in that same place. I felt like, what is all this medication really doing to me at the end of the day? And I just want all of you out there to know, if you're struggling to find some relief, and every time you go see a doctor or see someone, they're pulling out their pen or typing on their computer, sending the medication off to your pharmacy, and now you're taking that now. And you don't seem like, it doesn't seem like it's gonna work, and you already feel that as you drive to go pick it up. You just don't feel like that's it. Well, I want to shed a little light for all of you out there. I was in that same position. You know, last week I actually called my insurance of when I had this condition. When I had Eustachian Tube Dysfunction, I had tinnitus. I called the insurance carrier that I used to be under at the time, my healthcare provider, and I actually requested all my medical EOBs because I want to see all the places I went to, and I want all of you out there to see it as well. And when I get those in the mail, it's probably going to be a good stack. I'm going to go through every last facility I've been through with all of you to show you all that it was just a whirlwind. And every single facility did the exact same thing relatively for me. And I didn't feel the relief. All it did was give me more anxiety. Every time I went to another provider, I got more anxiety, more anxiety, and more anxiety. Some of you are in this whirlwind right now. You're starting to become very strategic. You may be at that position now where you're a little more rebellious in this whole process. I got to a point where I was telling no to doctors a lot. I was starting to rebel a little bit. I was starting to fight what they were telling me a little bit more. Not negatively or aggressively, or trying to push my way onto them or say that I'm no more. But I was trying to rebuttal what they were telling me I was dealing with, because after you go and see 10 or 15 different people, you start to really kind of get an idea of what's really going on here, or what's not. Actually, the better question is, or the better statement is, what's not going on here. And so I got to the point where, and a lot of you are going to get to this point too, where you're going to try so many things that you're gonna know what doesn't work, to when you're gonna find this small little stack of things that do work, and that's when your healing is gonna start coming. Because that's usually what it happens. It's almost like you have to shovel all the snow before you find that pathway. And in this sense, pathway is the healing in the road you're looking for. And that's really what makes it frustrating, because you're going to find a lot of things that are not going to be helpful to you on this journey that all of you are in. But you're not going to find that one isolated thing that's just going to heal everything and take you home from here. It's not going to be like that, unfortunately. Now, there may be a small percentage of you that do find what's going on, what's happening with you, but it's going to be very unlikely, because if you're on week 3 or week 4 and you're in the months now, you're probably going to be a little bit where I was, where it's like, now I'm equipped to know what doesn't work, that I'm only left with this pile here. So I kind of know now that this is going to help me. So that's kind of what happened with my journey. I threw 100 things away. And as I looked on, metaphorically, as I looked on my table, I saw that there was only a few things left. And I said, well, these have to be these certainly have to be the right things now, because everything else is in the trash, figuratively and literally. And so as I started to get to the point where my table was more visible of these things meaning I knew the right foods to start eating now, incorporating leafy green vegetables, and just taking time to be very conscious about what I'm putting in my body, and just being a little bit more aware. Now, a lot of you are in this position now where you don't know really what to do. You may still be in the early process. And I want to chop that early process down tremendously, because it gets very, I will say this condition is not for the weak of heart. It's going to challenge you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. It's going to challenge your patience. And to this very day, I credit my patience in other areas of life to this condition alone. I see a lot of times people are, you have those people that get something, a challenge, a small challenge, and they're like, they're a day in. It could be a sinus infection or an ear infection or or pneumonia or something, and they're only day one into it, and they're already ready to throw the towel in. This condition makes you more resilient, makes you more resistant, and you begin to understand that the body doesn't work in a yes or no way. The body works in a contingent way. It works continuously, streamingly. It works in a way where something could be working for you and it doesn't seem like it's working because the body doesn't work that way. It's not an on and off light switch. It's not a yes or no. It works in a streaming way. So basically, you could do something today that won't show you the benefits of it working today, but doing it consistently over a larger scale, a larger period of time will reap the good benefits of it with time. And that's why a lot of times, a lot of you may give up, or you may be doing the right thing and you stop that right thing and start doing something else, and you never actually get the benefits, or you never actually find the healing because you stopped whatever you were doing because you didn't see the immediate results. Our world is very designed by the microwave, by just add hot water, by going through the drive-through. We think it has to be that quick or it's not working. It's like if you started school today, from grade kindergarten all the way until now, you cannot take the exit exam or the big test in kindergarten because it's the knowledge is acquired over time. And so, like life, hopefully you're in that position, but a lot of people of age are very bright because they've seen it before and they've experienced it before, and they've allowed themselves to weather the storm and get more resilient over time. And the body works similar in that way, where you have to go through it in order to gain the understanding of the patient's level. And so medication is not going to be the answer, unfortunately. Now, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, so I'm not telling anybody right now watching this video to stop your medication. This is not what this video is about. This video is to tell you what I did and what didn't work for me, and now you have to assess if it's working for you. And you have to figure out, we're all of age, hopefully watching this video, that you're going to make your own assessment and see what's best for you, because I can't do that over the screen, and neither can a doctor really over the screen. And so the best thing to do is, this is what I did. What I did was I gave a medication. I took the medication based on whatever it is I was using it for. And after a little bit of time, I started researching. Now, now when I say medication, I'm not talking about blood pressure medication. I'm not talking about diabetic medication. I'm not talking about if you something very, very pertinent to what you're dealing with. I'm talking about, you don't know what you have when you have this ear problem and you're just taking steroids and all these other things. I started researching. I literally typed it out on my search bar and I said, what can I take? What can I consume or do that's prevalent to whatever this medication is, or however this is going to help me? So, for example, the nasal spray that I was prescribed was very strong. I don't remember the name of it at this time. I actually put it in my book, but I don't remember the name now. I had to go back into history to find that name. But right now, on top of my head, I don't know what it's called again. It's a very complex name. I started researching, how can I keep my nasal passages open and clean and free without putting anything in my stomach and going at that, or putting anything up my nose? What can I do to mimic the same caliber or more or better using something from the earth or something natural? And eventually I got so obsessed with finding something better than what I was doing that gave me better results, that didn't harm me at all. And I eventually got so equipped with being obsessed of finding things that were natural that it became second to nature. And I started just doing that all the time. Next thing you know, this bag of medication that I would carry around everywhere I went, because I thought if I had an episode or had a problem, I had it on hand. And, I eventually didn't need it anymore. And now my car is clear of medication. My backpack is clear of medication. I don't have any medication that I have to shovel around everywhere. And again, if you've been diagnosed with something that your doctor's saying, hey, you need to take this, this is not what I'm saying. But if you're have gone to urgent cares and emergency rooms and they spend a total of 5 minutes with you and they give you medication that can possibly harm you for longer than you've actually spent with the physician, then might be the good video for you to start evaluating what you have at home and what you carry around and see if it's beneficial and see if it's even worth it. Because if you can do without, a lot of times we structure our mind to be dependent on what we take. And if we don't get it, our mind looks for it. It sends messages to say, neurologically, we say, oh, we didn't have that today. Just like coffee drinkers out there. I consume coffee as a person eating cake on their birthday. Very seldomly, more often now than usual, but it's not to the point in my brain where if I don't get it, I'm gonna freak out. See, we really need to get to a point where we don't make whatever it is we have or take or do, unless it's good for you, an addiction to the point where you're sending messages looking for it, even though you don't need it. And it's like, I got to the point where it's like, I would go places and I was thinking, oh, I can't go too far. I need blah, 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 whatever it is. And it got very bad for a while. But as you start to get through this condition and grow and get stronger through it, you'll start to be less and less dependent on whatever that medication is, because you probably can find it in another form that's not harmful to you, and it's going to help you. Reason being is whatever medication you're taking too, depending on whatever it is, again, just telling you from my own perspective, it actually made me get rid of my problems. It made getting rid of my problems harder because it was actually doing things to my body that was keeping it around longer. For example, a lot of medications can weaken the immune system. That's your antibiotics. Because I was on antibiotics, so then I kept getting colds, and then I would get more stuffy and more congested because I kept getting colds. But I kept taking antibiotics because I was told to take it at a certain amount of time. And so, or nasal spray, you start taking it the amount of time they tell you to take it. Don't abuse it. You take it the time they tell you to take it, and the long period and the length they tell you to take it. Next thing you know it, you get a rebound effect, and now all of a sudden your nasal passages are blocked more and more harder to unbreak because you're taking it and you're getting this rebound nasal effect. So it's like, I got tired. I said, oh, I can't do this anymore. I can't get rid of something and get myself something else. And so if you're in that position right now, if all of you are in that position, look over what you have. It is possible. This video is to encourage you that it's possible to take something that you were told you needed. Maybe you don't feel in your gut you need it. And for Eustachian Tube Dysfunction and tinnitus, and now you're in this position where it's like, what do I do now? Should I keep taking this stuff, or should I? I'm gonna say what I did is I researched and found things that helped me not take that stuff anymore. And now here we are, post ETD, post tinnitus. I don't take any of that stuff. And it's all because of just researching and knowing that if I keep continuing to take the stuff, all it's going to do is set me back 3 more steps for me to come back up another step. So basically, you take it, sometimes you move backwards, you move forward. You move backwards, you don't gain any yards, you keep losing yards, and then you don't gain more yards than you lost. So you're essentially just kind of floating in la-la land, and you don't actually gain more yards to get to the end zone, which in this case is healing and peace. And so for all you football watchers out there, you want to keep gaining yards. You want to keep moving the needle. If you keep taking 10 steps back to come 2 steps up, you're never going to get through it. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean that to be insensitive, but this stuff will make you go back 9 yards or 9 steps to just only come up 1 yard or 1 step. It mathematically doesn't make sense. So I really hope a lot of you evaluate where you are and find something in you. I can't make that prognosis or that diagnosis right now based on my own situation. But I know a lot of you are very intelligent, very smart about looking for alternatives. We do it all the time when it comes to prices and shopping. Do the same thing for your body. Find something alternatively that's not going to harm you, so that way you can start gaining those yards and you can start gaining those steps to healing. I hope this video was very helpful for you. If it was, please take time to subscribe to the channel. I try to bring content as often as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to step out of the JWell in the studio and leave you in good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, we are here to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next video.